Can you complete the booster course pass without accelerating? With all 6 waves of the DLC finally released, I'm interested in determining whether these tracks are possible without one of the game's core mechanics. This video was inspired by PMK, who looked into this concept for the first 48 tracks in the game. I highly recommend you give it a watch. I'll be keeping the same rules from their video, 150cc only, and using Lake 2 to help me clear gaps is not permitted. Mushroom should only be used as a last resort. With that, let's get on with it. Tour Paris Promenade kicks off the booster course pass. Given I cannot move forward, my primary way of moving is to reverse. This was all fine and dandy until I reached the first glider ramp. Boost pads and glider ramps in this game propel you depending on which way you're facing, so in order to clear this first obstacle, I needed to align the car as perpendicularly as possible before hitting the boost so I could steer enough to launch myself. The city tracks in Mario Kart Tour contain multiple routes, so lap 3 had me driving the course backwards. I had to use a different glider ramp, but by using the glider boost technique, the first course in the challenge could be completed. A majority of these tracks only need this glider technique to complete, or have no obstacles at all. These tracks are marked off as being possible, so I can focus my attention on these remaining 19 tracks. Wee Coconut Mall is pleasant to drive through until I reached the final boost ramp. Without any walls, the ramp shooted me off into the car park, which required Lake 2 to rescue me. Not an issue, as this section contained an upper path, which was much easier to take. GBA Sky Garden presented the first real issue. Similar to the boost pads and glider ramp, the giant mushrooms bounce you based on which direction you're facing. With no other alternative, I was forced to use the mushroom to cross. Time trials in Mario Kart 8 to play with 3 mushrooms, so by using 1 mushroom per lap, this course is doable. There are several boost ramps in DS Waluigi Pinball which cannot be avoided. The barriers around the track helped to realign my kart, so I cleared this jump after a few tries. But GBA Snowland contained a jump too wide to cross, so a mushroom was needed here. The biggest issue with Wee Mushroom Gorge are, well, the mushrooms. The 2 mushrooms here could be avoided by taking the left path, but this first mushroom required a mushroom to cross. In the cave section, the boost ramp made it impossible to cross this section without needing Lake 2, so a second mushroom was needed. This unfortunately means that Mushroom Gorge is the first track that is not possible driving in reverse. Sky High Sundae has 2 jumps at the end where I didn't have enough speed to cross them. However, switching to Big Chonky Bowser gives me a much larger hitbox. This meant I could barely, and I mean barely, cross this gap. I took advantage of the boost panels in Wee Maple Treeway to make it to the cannon quicker. This track also is the first appearance of half-pipes in the game, originally from Mario Kart Wii. Going on these rewards you with a full mushroom boost. This boost ramp at the end I had my doubts about, and was worried I'd need a mushroom, but luckily, that wasn't the case. Oh, but Nintendo pulled out all the stops in 3DS Rainbow Road. I had to use 2 of my mushrooms in lap 1, but thankfully, the rest of the track can be completed. This marks the halfway point in the booster course path. Messing with the Patui piranha plants in GBA Riverside Park was fun and all, but the final leap through the waterfall couldn't be cleared normally, so mushrooms were required here. DK Summit though is hands down one of the best tracks I played in this challenge. Driving these tracks slowly in reverse can get pretty boring, but when you're able to chain speed boosts from the half pipes, it's so much more fun. I even managed to pull off part of the double cut, showing just how much easier it is compared to in Mario Kart Wii. My main concern with Tour Bangkok Rush were the sea of market stalls on lap 3, which you could bounce off of. Thankfully, the area was fenced in, so I hugged the side, and with enough steering, could clear that section fairly easily. GCN Waluigi Stadium had its assortments of boosts and half-pipes, but the final jump couldn't be cleared normally. This iteration of the track introduced this new upper section, and with just the right angle, I made it up there. Definitely the most fun track to figure out. Lap 3 of Tour Singapore Speedway started with a boost ramp, which required a mushroom to cross. I encountered another similar boost ramp later on, and thought this one could be dealt with. By remaining in my glider as long as possible, I had enough momentum from landing to just about make it to the ramp. And with that's Wave 4 concluded. Wave 5's challenge came from the two Wii tracks, Moonview Highway headsets of boost panels sandwiched in between toll gates, which I managed to clear by getting a semi-truck to push me through. Cooper Cape had a couple of boost panels to deal with. This first one took me several tries, but the barriers made it manageable. The same couldn't be said for Tor Romavanti. Launching from the Colosseum didn't give me enough air to cross this gap, so this required a mushroom to pull off. Through yes, Rosalina's Ice World had a similar problem for the last ramp in the track, but by taking the right path in the ice cave, the boost panels could give me enough speed to reach it. I had to hop like 20 times to inch toward this boost panel in SNES Bowser Castle 3, and with that, we've reached the final boss of this challenge, Wii Rainbow Road. I figured hopping down the slopes to reach the boost ramps would work fine, but the added anti-gravity made the cart stick to the track more and more, then this made this process about 100 times slower. All sorts of techniques came into play here. I originally thought I had to use a mushroom at this wavy section, but similarly to Waluigi Stadium, I could use the half pipe to get just enough momentum to make it to the boost ramp. So the question is, can you complete the booster course? No! Mushroom Gorge just had to ruin it!